Hello everyone, it's Chris here. Welcome to the show. We appreciate your time. When I was in South Africa a while back, we recorded three of the 3-2 Battalion Portuguese officers. And one of them, which are here now, which we will look at, is Colonel Germano. Now, the colonel started in 1980, and then he went up, became one of the first officers in 3-2 Battalion from the ranks to get through the system. He tells his story, and he said he will be willing to come back to us and tell us more. It was a fantastic interview. In fact, I said this in the other videos as well, but whenever you arrive at these Portuguese soldiers, they just introduce you to all their family. They have something to drink. They are just kind, decent people. I was so impressed. And then also, like I've learned, they don't like the word SP. They say it stands for Swart, Portuguese, which means that they see it as a racial thing, as discrimination. So we will be trying to use in this show, we're not going to use the word SP anymore. We'll just refer to them as then the Portuguese soldiers, and that's what they are. Many of them served in the Portuguese army before they came south with Colonel Jan Breitenberg. From there on, they moved on and they joined the SANDF, and they had very good careers. Especially this one in front of us has got a fascinating story to tell. So let me not waste your time further. Let us hear what Colonel Tobias has to say. Hello Internet. I must tell you people, we are very grateful today. I'm here with Colonel Tobias Germano. I hope I say his name correct. If I don't, sir, I apologize.
It is correct.
It's correct. And the Colonel has a wonderful story to tell me. He's also one of the 3-2 Battalion members. We don't use the word SB anymore. It's an insult to these people. I just want to educate all of you. We don't use that word anymore. There's a bit of a connotation to it which we don't like. So I'm going to introduce him as a Portuguese soldier. I hope that's good to you, sir. Now, if I can ask you, sir, how did you end up in 3-2 Battalion or in the South African Army?
Good afternoon, Chris. I ended up in 3-2 Battalion in Namibia, or Southwest Africa then, due to the fact that I was one of those who came with the South Africans when the world said, South Africa, get out of Angola. And that was 1976. Okay. I was then not a soldier, but a civilian working for FNLA in the south. I was stationed in Lubango with the others, and then when UNITA chased FNLA out of Lubango, we had to come to the south. We ended up in Chitado, and from there we were brought to Runtu, Kalai first, and then Runtu, and then we were taken as refugees to the Biko, there at the corner of Zambia, Southwest, and Angola. I think most soldiers know that area because we were operating there. From there, then the then leader of the FNLA group that we were with, Mr. Kambuta, he decided to form a resistance group, and were supported by the SADF. We were taken to Mukusu, and we started then being as a resistance group, but not very powerful. I still remained as a secretary in the office of Kambuta with others. But then MPLA decided to chase UNITA from Angola, and they invaded the area, and we had to run again. And we were then taken to the refugee camp a few kilometers from Runtu, south of Runtu. They used to call it 10 Mile. And we stayed there for about 2 years. At that stage, I was then 19 years of age, or turning 20. So, at the refugee camp, we were mixed with UNITA guys, FNLA guys, and some unknown other people. Eventually, the UNITA guys then were taken to Jamba by their leaders, and we continued there in the camp. The funny thing is that where you find a group of people from different ethnicities and different regions, they will always find a way to survive. And then these people, we learn from the natives how to make some aguardiente. Aguardiente is literal translation is fire water, but this is a distillation that's made from wild fruits. In this case, we're in Mangongo, they're in the Kavango area. So we started doing that and selling it back to the natives. But you know, without proper chemistry and all that, and some of these things started not necessarily poisoning, but burning the organs of these people, and the government said, no, these people are killing us, take them out of here. So they gave us few options. Option 1, Buffalo, join the others. Option 2, integration into the community, the locals. Option 3, go back across the river. But across the river, there was a catch, because who was across the river? UNITA. So, if you get across the river, you are going to integrate into UNITA. And some of us thought, no, this is not. I personally, I was not a soldier, so I said, no, I'm not going to be a soldier. And also, I'm not going to be integrated into the community, because how am I going to survive? Thirdly, let's see across the river. Maybe let me go and take my chances there. To take my chances there, we went and stayed about 2 weeks. But then UNITA colonels and commanders came and started first coercing us, later on forcing. Some of our leaders were taken, apparently to go and reconnoiter the bases and so on. Some of them, we never saw them until today. I had a friend called Peter, and I said, I'm going to cross the river back, because my chances are better there than here. He said, okay, let's go together. So, cutting the story short, we got what is this? Tubes, truck tubes. We filled them up with air and so on. We didn't have many belongings, but we got this ball sack. put in everything into the water and we crossed. Putting Runtu, unit already had a situation covered there, because they will hunt all those who were in the refugee camp. They will hunt them and take them across the river with the aid of the police then. So hiding here and there, then we got contacts with other colleagues that were deeper into the Kavango. Here we're talking about, in those times, that area was divided 10 mile, 20 mile and 50 mile. And then we joined somebody else who was there at the 50 mile, and he told us, even here we are not safe, we better go deep. The deep we resolved to go, we ended up in Valves Bay, there in the desert. Imagine, without money, without food and so on. But some of us got some, menial jobs, do this and do that. I got to help a Portuguese who was going to Portugal, and that's how I was earning a little bit of money to buy bread and so on. And remember, these families, I was not married then, but I had friends who had babies, I had to help them buy milk and so on. We were a group of about 10 people. When that Portuguese guy left, he had these trucks, these deeper trucks, or what you call it? Yes. And he said, look, I got this truck here. I cannot put this truck in the ship to take Portugal. It's not going to pass the exam. But you don't have a driver's license here. I cannot give you that. I said, no, I'll bring my elder brother who has got a driver's license, and he knows how to operate this. Now this guy was a elder called Mr. Keynes, and I took him and he looked at it, and this Mr. Keynes had a vehicle he bought with that what we were doing at the refugee camp, this international truck. Yeah, he had one. And I said, come and have a look. Maybe you have some idea of how to use it, but it's mine. He gave it to me. He went there and he was thinking again, going back to Kavango and going to load those fruits into that truck. It's a bigger truck. So he was talking again about that business. So he sold this international truck and we got this one, and then we go back to Kavango. When we reached Kavango, I looked at our situation. That was now already what? 1980 already. Of course, I cut out a lot of details that we can fill in later when you ask questions this stage and that stage. So in 1980, I think it was for the first time in March that these Buffalo soldiers, 3-2, they were granted leave. And they came to Runtu and so on, and I was no longer with him, I was now in Runtu. There we interacted and so on. All my friends that left in 77 came back and so on. That killed the fear in me. said, all my friends are there, so why can't I join? That was March. Then I started inquiring, when are they going to recruit again? The friends I was living with that were soldiers before, they said, you becoming a soldier, you are mad. You can't be a soldier, your character is not that of a soldier. I said, watch me. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, there was movement at the 3-2 Battalion head office in Runtu. Okay, I heard they were recruiting. I left September pass. October I went there. And I asked, what do you need for me to join 3-2 Battalion? He said, you want to become a soldier? I said, yes. There was a Portuguese clerk there. Yes, we are looking for people like you, young, and you can speak Portuguese very well and so on. Even English, you are not so bad. I said, when? He said, tomorrow when you come, bring your stuff. What stuff did I have? Maybe another pair of pants and that shirt. So I went, I came back. The other guys at the house, I told them, listen, I'm joining 3-2 Battalion. What? You are crazy? I said, no, I'm not crazy. I'm going tomorrow, I'm not coming back. Okay. I went. Now, the funny thing is, during the registration, this Portuguese guy was writing the names. He asked me, what's your name? Tobias Germano on the hang up. No, stop. Tobias Germano is fine. That one is too long. Then there is no space here. I said, oh my. No. Okay. So we enlisted. We were a group of 10 already. And we were taken to Buffalo already, I think by the 20th, 25th October, we were already in Buffalo, 1980. Coming to Buffalo, our strength was not enough to form a company for training, so we stayed there doing manual tasks. You know, Christmas was in the kitchen. We were even getting fat and so on. So, yeah. Come January, we started now with this basic marching and what movements. And by March, that's why that training area there is called 9 de Março. That's when we started clearing that area for the training area. We were about a company, yes, because we were 3 platoons with Apollo in charge and Runevald and these guys, Staff Camaleão, Staff Firmino and them, Peugeot, each one with a platoon. So we started our training there. In May, we finished training, got into the companies. I ended up in Bravo. At that time, Bravo was configured, or the whole battalion was configured. Each company had to have 4 platoons. We ended up in Bravo, and I was given the LMG position, #1. Shoo! Remember, that thing is tall and and heavy and so on. There was this youngster as well. I told Apollo, the youngster, wherever he goes, make sure he's with me, because otherwise he's not going to survive. He was too young. I told him to say he was 17 because he was 16 actually. They wouldn't consider him. So I was LMG number 1 and he was LMG number 2. There we go. A few operations. Actually, our first operation was in May 81. There in the border in Vambuland. So our first operation, we came back. The second one, our medic resigned or just ran away. Our platoon sergeant said, Germano, come here. You're going to be medic. I said, what? The reason they chose me is because I told them my story before, that I used to work for some nuns in Angola who ran a school of nursing here in the south of Angola, in Chiulo, if you know the area. That nursing school and hospital is run by island nuns. And I worked there as a secretary of the school. And sometimes they called me to go and help at the hospital. That's why the sergeant heard that story, said, you are now the medic. But you have to be two. You have to be two. I said, Joaquin, come. You stay here with me. I'm not going to leave you. He becomes number 2. There we go. Medic, medic, medic. 81, 82, 83. In 84, actually, I just finished my section leader basic course. Although I'm medic, he said, no, you go to that course. Because as a medic, you have to know leadership. Because in the absence of your section leader, you as a medic, you become the second in command of the section. I said, okay, fine, no problem. We just passed that. And the wind of selection for officers started blowing. We started hearing this and that. I was in Bravo company. The company commander at that time was Captain Ihlenfeld. And there was this platoon commander of ours called Lawrence. He was a police officer before. And then lately it's Eric Rabi and so on. Oh, the other way around, I get mixed up now. But Lawrence called me and said, look, the colonel wants, the major, was Big Daddy at that time, I think he was a colonel, wants officer material from you guys, because the world is tired of seeing whites commanding you and so on. I said, yes, what has got that to do with me? I'm only a lance corporal. He said, no, I'm sending you with Andre. Andre was my section leader. And I was a true temporary lance corporal. Please be together in that course. You guys can make it. Don't be intimidated by stories. I have confidence in you guys. Go and bring us proud here. We want you guys to be officers. Not us, the world. I said, okay, fine. Now imagine, when we got selected in the platoon in the company, there was already this thing, I can't say it's animosity, but this thing of they and us and so on. Even your colleagues don't want to talk to you anymore and so on. And some who had guts will come and ask you, Niti, I will be a lieutenant. I said, to command who? Us. Who is? You just came yesterday in 32 Battalion. Are you going to be able to command these old people and so on, the sergeants and so on? Don't you see how the sergeant treats the whites? You is going to be worse. I said, no, give it a chance. Okay. Then we were sent to, okay, we went to Pretoria to finalize the selection board. And the selection board was on the 13th of August 1984. What I remember is that General Heldeness on the 15th of August, in that parade in the banks of the Kavango River, he put those epaulets in our shoulders, you know. So, I don't know how I felt. I said, Jesus, God, what are you doing to me? I'm a candidate officer, and with your grace, I'm going to become an officer. Okay, fine. Let it be your will. And that was as we became candidate officers. From there, we spent, I think, 18 months of courses. Officer, what do you call that now? We did our, what's the name of that course that we used to do at Army?
Leadership.
Leadership, yes. We did in Nove de Março. The instructor went from Pretoria, from the Army College, and gave us instructions there. And it went well. From that, we had our bush trip with UNITA. At that stage, we were there when we were with UNITA. Kausweka and those areas. We also had a lot of casualties that we were out. I think 13 of them. Lieutenant White, and then that's where he was killed with UNITA. And we didn't have our normal backpacks. We had to construct those backpacks from 2 little bags and sticks and so on. Others were well off because they had been platoon sergeants and so on. I was struggling. I've never been a platoon sergeant in my life. Now they give me this position. Okay, but it went well. We came out and then we were sent now on these other courses, and you name them, intelligence school and what, Otsore and Potchefstroom and so on. By the time, on the 27th of March, what year, 85 or 86, our commission came and we were commissioned officers. Only 2 lieutenants, the other were second lieutenants. The lieutenants were Apollo and Kanganjo, and all of us were second lieutenants. Yeah, we were not happy and so on. We even went into operations, and now the problem came when we were together with JMC. The JMC, they had lieutenants as, stick commanders, and we were second lieutenants. But to make it look well, they proposed that we get full lieutenant pips, and when we get back to Buffalo, we take them out. Titi and I, we were on the same line, that side of Ruakana up to Oshikango. I said to Titi, Titi, you already received your 2 peps. When we get to Buffalo, you don't give them back. And as for me, I'm not going to wear these 2 peps. I'll continue with that was our little rebellion. All I know is just that when the commission ended, I was called in office orders by Dupe on orders to get my 2 peps on my shoulders. I said, why? No, this is to wait for the official instruction from Pretoria. I said, no, I will wait for that. I said, are you disobeying this instruction? I said, okay, because I'm forced by instruction, I will put them on, but I will never take them out because this is my right. I'm qualified. Okay, now all of us were there. We continued, and then we became captains and so on, operations, what, and so on. I'm not going to talk about operations per se now. This is just my personal story, and eventually it came to the 27th of March 93, the disbandment of 32 Battalion. That I spent 92 and the 3 months of 93 on course, actually 1 year. 93, I was finishing now all arms at Luatla Army Battle School. Everybody else knew that the unit was going to be disbanded, except me. All my white colleagues and so on. They knew. They were told not to tell me so that I don't fail the course. I said, the one who gave me a lift, he insisted to give me a lift, was a personnel officer, Major, I think he's Miller, from Reiki or Special Forces. Now he was at 32. Tall guy. He even faked that his vehicle broke down because we were approaching the base and the parade didn't start yet. So he didn't want me to participate in the parade because of emotion, what. He gave me a lift up to of my gate. And my wife was coming out of the gate. She just kissed me and said, I'm late, I'm going to the parade. I said, what about? She said, no, just go inside, choose some clothes, follow us. I can't wait, now they are waiting for us. How come they are waiting for you and not for me? Yeah, okay. The rest is it's a story, the same. And the most amazing thing is that was a Friday. As the parade ended, I was told to go to the officers' bar. I must be there to get instructions because that Sunday I'm leaving. Leaving? Yes. Okay, fine. I went to the officers' bar. there was a big brouhaha there, and the ruckus and what, and a lot of flying socks. And I was told, okay, see you tomorrow. That Saturday, I went to the OC's office. Colonel Sot Werner, he was at that time the OC of 7th Psi. He already had our affiliation dress for 7th Psi, me and my company. The company that they chose for me, I don't even know them and so on. Yeah, I knew them as soldiers of 32 Battalion, but never worked with them. I was the first to leave 32. I never belonged to 2 Psi. Never. 32, 7 Psi. Ha. Buses. Imagine from Pomfret to Palabor. From one end to the other end, we just looked at these bushes and these forests and what. Hey, even the troops were saying, no, these people threw us away. Huh? We are doomed here. Okay, we arrived at 7th Psi. Luckily, Colonel Werner Sot was an ex-32 battalion. And he knew the troops, he knew me, and so on. And that is the experience of 3-2. The rest I served in 7th Psi, where people were saying we will not be able to command other troops and so on. I said, Colonel Sot, give me a company. And we came to Tokoza here to Fort Lores. And with that experience of 3-2, I told the troops and sergeant what to do. We started getting results. 7th Psi, Joint Ops, from Joint Ops, C-Log. That was my career. The moments that I appreciate the first one, I already said it, it's about the 15th of August. The second most, emotional moment for me was when I became a colonel. I said, thank you, God. If nothing else comes, this is already a bonus. Thank you very much. I don't know if it's another line you want me to follow, or for now we can stop and we can always continue a bit later. And thank you for listening to my side of the story. If you got questions, maybe I can answer them at a later stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. I can guarantee you there's going to be a lot of questions, and we will definitely come back to you. But thank you so much.
You're welcome.